Hey guys, Rilhon here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at the Gothic, which is my recently completed newest build. So this is a ship launched in 1893 and it is basically a small version of the Teutonic. She has a single funnel and she is very similar to the Nyman, which is another Rilhon and Wolf built ship. She was built over the course of about I think 3 weeks or 4 maybe, and it was built with the help of a set of custom deck plans put together by my lovely friend Sven. We'll link his channel in the description, of course. But yeah, so we didn't really have full deck plans for her before, but Sven has been able to extrapolate a lot of information from Norman and other White Star ships to create something pretty accurate. So this is the result of that, so let's get right into the tour. The Gothic, launched in 1893, was a passenger ship named after the Goths, a Germanic people that lived in what is now Moldova, Romania, and Ukraine. She was transferred between the White Star Line and Red Star Line twice during her career, renamed to Gothland and back to Gothic, so she was Gothic at first, then Gothland, then Gothic, and then finally Gothland again. Under the joint White Star and Shaw Saville and Albion line, or Albion line, she sailed on the UK to New Zealand route, and she also served in the Second Boer War, which was very common for White Star liners of this era, and she was finally scrapped in 1925 as the Gothland. She is our favorite Goth girl. So, let's get into the tour here. I'm in here in my White Star fleet world, so let's go from the top and work our way down, as always. So up here on the boat deck we have the bridge with this flying bridge on top. There is standard configuration for White Star liners of the era. They would add a wheelhouse here later in her career. Pretty much all White Star liners up to this point had a taller wheelhouse added later. Now we have this original wheelhouse down here, and we also have a chart room. We need to go out, oops, and the back. Then this is the captain's room. He has a little sitting room as well as a bedroom. That's pretty much that. Then we have the boat deck here. There are 8 lifeboats in total. Singular funnel, there's a lot of skylights, and this is the engine hatch going down. And there's also a small fan room here. These go down into the boiler rooms basically. So let's go downward a deck to, I guess it's the promenade deck. So this is the first class or first saloon entrance. This is the main staircase. It's pretty much the exact same as Teutonic in terms of style. Which is the case for most of our public rooms actually. Back here or forward here is some fancy rooms. There are 3 of these fancy cabins or suites, I guess, while the rest of them were painted white like this. I'm just going to show you real quick. All the way down. The standard kind of basic White Star style of cabin look like this pretty much. Let's go back up. So yeah, here is the library, or pretty much a lounge. It's exact same style as the Teutonic again, and majestic. And there is a skylight here and here, so we got light going all the way down into the dining room. There is a bookcase and then a bunch of little alcoves where you could read and hang out. Pretty nice room. Here is a bunch of cabins. They're all simple. On this side I think there is a bathroom and a toilet. Yeah. On the other side there is a corridor leading aft to the smoke room. This was a very common design on White Star ships and Rilhon and Wolf ships at the time. Many ships had it. There's a lavatory LVC here, and some urinals which we hate. And on the other side is a bar. Yeah, let's pop out. There's something I missed, right? No, not binder. Well, technically, on the stern, on the poop deck, we have this little stern deck house. This was included on the latest Naronic and Bovik. They had this as well, and many coming ships will have it as well. It is the steering gear deck house on the top of this deck, and there's also the hospitals back here. Let's go forward again. Let's head down one deck, so to the upper deck, I believe this is. And we also should check out the forecastle deck. This is where they have the windlass gear, or the anchor chain winches. The anchors are hoisted up on the sides here. And yeah, there's some winches and equipment and stuff. Here's the crow's nest. I've also included a detail on the ships, the steam pipes. This was a suggestion by Sven. I hadn't really thought to include this before, but this is a nice detail. Because of course by this point they didn't really have their winches electrified. Or I mean they were steam winches much later too, but they like found a better way to power them. So yeah, this is a neat detail. Anyway, we have some lavatories here for the petty officers, a wash place for the seamen. Here is the galley for the crew, where they cook their food. We have a lavatory for the seamen, lamp room, lamp trimmer and joiner, their cabin. And then in here, what was this seaman? Yeah, the seamen's quarters, where they slept. Also his little store space in the bow. And down here are a bunch more stores, as with all ships, pretty much all ships in history. Usually keep store spaces in the very front of the bow. Here's the carpenter shop and the quartermasters. And here is the master at arms. Heading further aft, we get to the crew entrance. We get to the famous crew entrance deck house. But this is some more crew spaces. So we have the carpenter, bosun, chief cook and baker. They have a little lavatory and wash place here, or bathroom rather. Cooks, stewards. Very simple, but it works. And also the chief steward, he had a fancier cabin here probably. And then here is a staircase leading down into the brine tank room. Can I? Oh, I can't go down. Okay, good. This is where they powered the refrigerating engine room. Sorry, I'm feeling very gassy right now in my belly because I just ate. Sorry. But yeah, that is that. Here is. Oh, I said she had 8 lifeboats before. 10 lifeboats. I forgot the ones on the bow here. So let's head aft again. Here is the first saloon entrance again, the main staircase. This is the mast, by the way. I don't know if you thought about that, but it's here. It goes down all the way to... Oh yeah, all the way to the bottom actually. I forgot about that. Yeah, they had them go down as far as they possibly could, just to add that extra stability. Let's begin with the rooms here actually. I was gonna wanna quickly mention them. Bunch of cabins here in the front. That's about it. They're very simple. Here is the dining saloon. Also similar to Teutonic, I wanna say. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe not. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly, but many ships of the time had this style as well. Here's also a piano. And here is the aft staircase again. On this side we have the purser's office and his cabin. You got a little window here, you could talk to him. On this side is a pantry where they would prepare the food, and then the galley adjoining here where they would actually cook the food. And here's the scullery where they would clean all of the utensils and stuff. I've got this here. Yeah, the fireman's entrance. This is where they entered. Went into the boiler rooms here. Did I forget something here? Yeah, no, oh yeah. I forgot on this side we have the barbershop. This is where you cut your hair and beard if you wanted to. There's also a lavatory on this side. With a nice skylight. Further aft, let's go back into the galley and then out here. This is where they kept the bakery, where they would have cooked out bread, and also the butcher shop, where they would have butchered that shop. Anyway, in here, okay, we'll get to that in a bit. Here's the printing office. I believe Gothic was one of the first ships to have a printing machine. I'm not sure though, but they would have printed like ship menus and like papers and stuff. There's also an entrance here to the food stores, which we'll get to later. Let's go out and around. So here at the very end of the main deck house is the surgeon or the doctor, which is where you would come if you were sick. You have another fireman's entrance here leading down. This is to their quarters where they slept. So how they would get to the workplace is they would go up from their bunks, go back here, and then wait, no. Oh, it was here, okay. And there's also a similar entrance on the other side. Let me just real quick show that. Should be here, yeah. Leading down. On this side is the engineer's entrance. This is where the engineers were kept. Also the printer slept in here. The engineer, second engineer, chief engineer. And this is the engineer's mess room where they ate. They had a little pantry here. There's also a nice skylight here, leading up. Goes all the way, but it goes like all the way around as well. There's a lot of engineers in this area. Engineer's lavatory, where they would have done the things that you do in a lavatory. And there's also an entrance here for officers. For some reason, the officers were kept in the stern or aft. Normally, all officers are kept close to the bridge, but not on Gothic for some reason. So we have the first or chief officer here, and then the second, third, and fourth joining it. Oops, the officers had a mess here, and they also had a lavatory here with a bath. Further aft we have another deck house. This was like some lavatories for third class. So the men on that side, the women on this side. And there are more lavatories here in the poop deck house, or yeah, I don't think it's classed as a deck house, but whatever. This is where the entirety of third class was. So yeah, if you're wondering what these names are, they're my viewers. I like to put their names on cabins, just as a little sign of appreciation. But yeah, this is how third class looked. Very basic. The walls look quite nice. They're unpainted wood, which I think looks better than white painted wood somehow. It's kind of very homey. I like it. They had a little dining area in the middle. Dining/saloon area. There's also their pantry here. That should be it on this deck. That's all almost all passenger accommodations done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna check out the final passenger accommodations, and we're gonna go back here into the main staircase and go down the staircase to the main deck. This is where the final first class or first saloon accommodations were kept. And they were basic like this. And then at the very end they had a lavatory on both sides for men and women. A little linen locker here, and there's also the baggage hold here where they kept the baggage. When did they? Okay, never mind. So yeah, that's about that. And then of course, let me just real quick show you guys the firemen, trimmers, and greasers, their compartments. So that we saw this before, but yeah, the firemen, more firemen, there's a lot of firemen. And then the greasers, engineer, storekeeper. They also have a wash place, lavatory, and bath. So they had everything they need, even though it probably wasn't very comfortable, but it was. After a long day of stoking the boilers, you're not gonna complain. You're just gonna fall asleep. So yeah, the thing with Gothic is that she was very heavily focused on cargo, and most of her hull was actually cargo holds. So yeah, let's go through them all. Am I? Yeah, I have night vision on. That's good. So yeah, we have these cargo holds here. The ones in the bow here are refrigerated. I struggle to say a lot of words. But yeah, this was where they kept all of the cold wares basically. Or transport meat and food perhaps. Then they would keep it in here. And that was the case with these two forward cargo holds, as you can see. I added some ice detailing. I thought that was pretty cool. A neat little detail. Oh, why would you be open like that? And here again is the brine tank room that we saw earlier. Here's the first class area. Let's go down here again. So now we are here roughly. We have the number 3 cargo hold. Going through this, we have the coal bunker. One of the many coal bunkers and trimming spaces for the boiler room. Let's go from the top actually and go down. So we have the boiler uptake casing, whatever, here. Going all the way down, we get to the boiler room. So there were 6 single-ended boilers on Gothic. And Gothic, I should mention, was the first ship to have this, or first White Star ship to have this interesting ash ejector. While in the port they kind of had to manually dispose of the ash from the boilers, but while out at sea they had this automatic system where I think they would effectively pour all the ash into this hole. They had an engine nearby that would essentially create a suction, so it got sucked all the way up and thrown out into the sea. So that's the idea. And this was included on Olympic and Titanic and many other ships after this. But yeah, that's the boiler room. It's similar to what you've seen before. Let's go aft into the engine room. Gothic had 2 engines powering her twin propellers. Going all the way up here. The top of the cylinders, you have the rails above, which they could use to lift the cylinders up to provide maintenance if needed. You had a bunch of catwalks leading up all the way into on top here. The engineers also had a door here, a little entrance from their quarters that we saw before, leading down here all the way. On this little platform we have the electric engines powering the ship's electricity plant. It was the electricity plant. Here are the circulating pumps, which would take the the water, which the condensers, the condensers turned the steam, the leftover steam from the, god damn it, I can't speak today. The engines turn it back into water. Circulating pumps pump them back into the boilers, or if it was too much, they would just throw it out on the side of the ship. These are the thrust blocks to keep the engines from shaking the ship apart. And here is a bunch more refrigerating machinery. I should show you guys what that powers. In this hatch, this leads down into the refrigerated food stores, where they kept the food and stuff, the eatables, not the eatables. That's something else. Yeah, all of the different food stuff. So we have the meat here, fish, poultry, and mutton. Yeah, endless food. There's a bunch more equipment on the sides. I don't really care that much about engine spaces. Like, I try to make them look cool and semi-accurate. The engines I want to get as accurate as possible, which I think I've succeeded with doing in this case. And it's just that I don't care about all of this machinery on the sides that much. I try to follow the plans as best I can, if I have plans for it. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of random bullshit go. But yeah, that's about it. There are a bunch more cargo holds in the stern. And that's about it. So that's the Gothic. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next one. It will probably be the Pontic and the Gallic. I haven't put Gallic in here yet, but those two will get a video. So look forward to that. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.